peoples. First order of business. Why does Sherry have a monkey on her? Well, it's not a monkey, it's a lemur. Actually, it's a monkey, but I didn't have a stuffed lemur, so it's a monkey. Now, why is it a lemur? Because this is the Artemis Fowl Time Paradox with Spoilers book review! And I don't have the book or the audiobook anymore because I returned them to the library and they had lots of holes on them. And I wasn't going to be a bad librarian and not return them. So yeah, I have my lemur or lemur representative. So the thing that really bugged me about the whole lemur thing was it was lame. Just, oh no, I knew this would happen. I killed a lemur and now it's affecting me. It's like, no, killing things is wrong. This is true. And, you know, I've liked the sort of environmental message of Artemis Fowl so far. One of my favorite lines is from the Arctic incident when he's just like, oh, I can't remember, just something like, just because of my criminal mastermind doesn't mean I can't care about the environment. Or like, oh yeah, the environment is everyone's problem. You know, he'll still steal and cheat and do all kinds of other things, but the environment is everyone's problem. So I like that about Artemis Fowl. And it cracked me up. But the lemur thing was pushing it, because is there really anything like the Extinctionists? I don't think so. I mean, there are people who might think that way, but they don't form big clubs, because it doesn't generally look good to say, I want to kill your puppies! But, yeah, so I don't see that as happening. I mean, I realize this is a world where fairies live underground and use highly technological equipment, but still this plot pushed me to the limits of my credulity. And it's mostly just even in such a world, you have to maintain a certain amount of respectability, says the girl with the monkey on her neck. But you have to take it seriously. Even if it's not a serious world, it's just complete farce if you don't take it seriously. And I feel like he was trying to take it seriously, but it was just so over the top that you can't take it seriously anymore. It just, oh no, because this one lemur went extinct, everything is falling in around me, and I knew it would happen, I knew it! No, you didn't, Artemis. You're totally just wigging out because your mother's sick. The whole Holly Artemis thing, now, I realize that's one of the ships for these books. I haven't really been into the fandom, but I'm sure there's the Holly Artemis ship, I'm sure, and there's the Holly Minerva ship, which Minerva didn't come back. What happened to Minerva? She just disappeared. I guess because she's not way too old for him. It's not interesting. Maybe she'll come back. I don't know. I didn't really have strong feelings about her character one way or the other, but I think as far as things go, she's probably a better match, species-wise. Although, I mean, come on, fairies and humans aren't that different species-wise. I'm sure they could, like, reproduce and create, like, half fairy, half human thingamajiggies. Although Artemis is way too young right now. So I thought that was cute, but it just wasn't enough, and I feel like the character development, it wasn't necessarily bad, it's just nothing really changed about Artemis. He didn't develop any more than he already had. There was nothing new. And sometimes you want more of the same thing. I mean, part of you, when you read a series, you're kind of wanting more of the same, but a good series at the same time gives you more of the same stuff, but also develops it in a way you didn't see coming. And I don't feel like you got to go back in time and see Artemis before he had grown a conscience, which I thought would be really great, because that was like one of my favorite things about the Artemis Fowl series is that he's a criminal mastermind. That's the fun part. I mean, child prodigy, cute, but criminal mastermind, heck of a lot more fun. Now he's just like a really smart guy who, I don't know, who still does wrong things. The whole lying to Holly was wrong, but it was kind of a relationship friend thing, and I mean, you can see that more along the lines of, it's more interesting when he does something so horrible that at first you're like, no, you can never forgive him for that, but then like, you see all the reasons he does it, like all the terrible things he did to fund his Arctic incident was to find his father, who he really loves, and to like return his mother to sanity, whom he also really loves. So you have these really good reasons. You'd have to sit there and ask yourself, if you were capable of doing that kind of thing, would you do it? It makes more sense, whereas this is just, he doesn't do anything. Like, he just lied because he didn't think that she'd help him. And you know Holly, she probably would have. So that wasn't as much of a stretch. That was like, you know it's going to go down badly for him at some point. You're just waiting for it to happen. You don't feel more like, wow, they actually proved to me that I still like him as a character, even though he's you know, I find some of the things he does morally reprehensible. You know, like, in the first book, he kidnaps Sally and does all kinds of horrible things, and, you know, he's feeling his twinges of guilt, but he does it anyway. So that's much more interesting than, oh, I lied to her, oh, the angst, oh, I love her. Yeah. And the fifth book I wasn't really nuts about either. I think the demon is slightly more interesting in this one, but only slightly, and he's still just kind of silly. So, all in all, this wasn't his strongest work, and neither was the fifth book. I'll still read, but it's probably, the way it indicated to me that it's probably going to be a seventh book. And I didn't have a problem with Opal Cowboy, I think, when she first appeared, but when she started coming back repeatedly, she seems to be, like, returning all the time, and that can get tiresome after a while. So, hopefully, I'd love for the series to pick up again, but if it doesn't, that's just the way things are. Usually there's two kinds of authors. One kind gets better over time, the other kind gets worse over time. Yeah, and actually there's three. The third kind is just kind of inconsistent. Some of the books are really, really great, and some of the books are not so much. I keep reading series in general, even if they seem to be going downhill, because I hope that they're one of those inconsistent authors that, like, somewhere along the way they're going to write another marvelous one. Unless, of course, I stop reading the series for reasons of I'm just no longer interested in that kind of writing, which I have done before. But, yeah, hopefully he gives Artemis some more interesting character development. But that was my take on that, and they took the music out of the audiobook. I really liked the jazzy techno. I know it was nerdy, but it was a fun jazzy techno Artemis Fowl theme, and it just seemed to fit really well for me. And they took it out, and they had a new reader. He wasn't that much different than the old reader. Like, he didn't do any of the voices really differently. Oh, except for Julius. Julius sounded so weird. He sounded too prim and proper. That's not the Julius that I know. Julius Fruit. So that wasn't right. Going from, like, you know, hardened New York cop sounding type guy to, like, prim British upper crust is not what I'm looking for. So that's all the time we have. Yes, I've been timing my book chat now. Thanks for watching.